Welcome to the Veterans of Woodbridge. Listen to a few samples of our military experiences shared in meetings, starting with our World War II veterans. Colonel Jack Furr, who served during World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, donated the first brick to our Veterans Memorial, illustrating his call to duty.
Syracuse, New York, to Newfoundland, to Greenland, to Iceland, to Ireland. We landed the airplane in Ireland, and then they took the airplane over and they flew us over to London, to where we were assigned to the 100th Bomb Group, and went from there. On the way over, on flying the airplane over, we almost didn't make it. We were flying over and we started to ice up. And the only way to get out of the ice was lower altitude. We dropped down to 100 feet over the water and flew there for a long time. And the navigator got a little confused and we got lost for a while. And then we finally made it and made it across.
Did you go in any combat after that, combat missions?
After we got there, I was assigned to the 100th Bomb Group, and which was halfway between Norwich and Ipswich on the east coast of England, north of London. And when I got there, I flew 29 missions as an aircraft commander on the B-17. And when I arrived, you were supposed to fly 25 missions and then be sent home. But after I flew about 20 missions, so we got fighter escort, so they raised it to 30. And I flew 29 because I lost part of my crew on the last mission. And they said that was enough. I was 20 years old and under stress, and they sent me home.
So you had 29 missions at age 20, before age 20.
Yeah.
Or 21, yeah.
Well, I got my wings when I was 19 years old, became a second lieutenant.
Wow.
If you visit our memorial, you may recall this memorable experience shared by Dan Armstrong.
I heard the most god-awful noise I ever heard in my life coming down the road. I turned and looked. It was an M48 tank. And I was awestruck by the power of that machine and the way it looked. It affected me for the rest of my military career. After being tested and whatnot, Fort Benning, Georgia, Sand Hill. At that time, the 3rd Infantry Division was stationed at Fort Benning, and attached to them was the 7th Cavalry. The 7th Cavalry that Custer was involved with. It was a recon outfit at that time, and recon platoons were kind of different. I have a picture. And this is in Germany when we went to the M48 tanks, and in this one I am 4th from the rear. This is we're all cleaned up at this time.
On the opposite side of the Veterans Memorial, this brick may bring back memories of an interesting story shared by Army veteran Ray Noble.
My first assignment, having graduated from the leadership school, was to Fort Riley, Kansas again, and just assigned as a private who drove a police car. And incidentally, we were on single assignments driving around in the police car, and I always pulled the night assignments and what have you. And I was really having a good time in a 49 Chevy, all dressed up in a cop car, racing around the post. So that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. Wasn't long though that I was pacing around the officers club, and I found a car there that was violating the parking. So I thought, well, I'm going to write my first ticket. So I wrote the ticket out, wrote down the pertinent information. Well, what I didn't realize that this was the car belonging to the provost marshal of the post. It was 2 weeks later I got a transfer.
memorial brings Ray Foxworth to mind. This quiet, easygoing gentleman was awarded the Bronze Star 4 times. One of our veterans, Dick Salzman, served in 2 different military branches, the Navy and the Marines.
And I said, "Sir, aren't those the blue lights?" He said, "I don't see any blue lights." The next morning I went down to put in for flight school, and they couldn't do enough for me. I ended up going to flight school. When I graduated from flight school, actually going into advanced training, the only way I could fly fighters, which I wanted to fly ever since I was a little kid, was to take a commission in the Marine Corps. The person handing out assignments was a Marine major. So I got to switch over to the Marine Corps and went through advanced flight training in the F-6F Hellcat, which is the airplane shown out here in the hallway in the Veterans Display. I graduated from that, spent a year in Marine Fighter Squadron, All-Weather Fighter Squadron 114 at Cherry Point, North Carolina, flying the F-2H-4 Banshee. About 9 months of that, they switched into F-9, F-6 Cougar, which is a swept-wing fighter. Just getting comfortable with that. I had a little over a year in the squadron, sent me to helicopter training. I spent the last part of my career in an observation squadron flying 2 different types of helicopters and 2 different types of light planes. After the 6 years, I spent probably another 6.5 years in the reserves.
Another brick located near our Coast Guard panel is a brick to remind us of stories told by Air Force Sergeant Bill Barnhart.
So anyway, on the 30th of December, I went into the Air Force in 1970 and went down to Lackland and spent 6 weeks in basic training there. Got in probably next to the best physical condition I ever was in my whole life. Got to I could run 10 miles without trouble, that kind of thing. Anyway, based on the scores that I had made, I could pretty much have my choice. I chose air traffic controller, and as my first choice, my second choice is intercept operator, and I didn't really have a third choice, so I just looked down, medical administration, let me put that down as my third choice, and guess what I got? I got medical administration. So after basic training, went directly to Shepherd in the Panhandle of Texas in January, February, March time frame, and went through basic training for basically EMT type training. Even though I was going to go admin, you still had to have the basic medical training. While there, I caught pneumonia. You had to march from the barracks to the class every day, and it was like 0 or below 0 with high winds and stuff. But anyway.
And then a riveting Vietnam story by Marine Dave Reed.
I had a couple interesting times, to say the least. I was out with a rubber tired crane going down the road in between the rice paddies, and a round ricocheted off the roll bar. And you can imagine the rice paddy is huge, and you're out there on the road all by yourself, and somebody's shooting at you. It's like, so you push the pedal down on that old diesel thing, and it might get up to 20 miles an hour or something, but I got the heck out of there. The worst time I had, probably one of the worst ones, is they used me as a tunnel rat, and I wasn't really the smallest, but as a private, you become you. And I actually went down twice in those dark tunnels. You can't use a light, and you got a knife in your teeth, and you're working your way along until you bump into something. And then basically you kill something before it kills you. And then maybe you can turn the light on and then try to back up.
Our newest member, Richlbert, served on the USS Constellation. We can't wait to hear about his experiences. It makes no difference to us in which branch we served. We are proud to share our stories, real stories of how we answered our call to duty for this great nation. We begin every meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we continue our duty and allegiance. Please share your story with us, the veterans of Woodbridge.